Okay, now I got to check
Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for all that have gathered. We pray for our saints, pray for our meeting and our speakers, and bless the food that is prepared and is in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
All right. Again, we want to thank everyone who is joining us. I know we got others that are coming as well. And how many of our seniors are here with us today? I see some of our seniors are here. I want to make sure after we get through with this sermon, we're going to, with this meeting on today, we want to bless y'all with a Thanksgiving dance for those who need it. Again, we want to give blessings to you all. And thank you all for coming out again. I know we have several of our stakeholders here, as well as our educators, and we want to thank you all for being here in the building with us here at the dwelling place. And those who are joining us live online, again, we want to thank you for joining us and streaming into this meeting. This here is our final meeting for 2024, and we get ready for 2025. So in all of May, you all will be able to really be able to rest and spend time with the family, except for our stakeholders and partners that's part of District 6. We're going to be meeting back here December the 10th. December the 10th at 12 o'clock, we're going to have a real strategic meeting with our community partners as we go deeper into the wraparound District 6 model. And to those who are joining us online, if you are a service provider, and many of you all will be getting the email by tomorrow. All our school, all our county, city, state, federal partners will be getting the email for those who will be joining us in our ecosystem that we have developed here in District 6. That are creating these resilient hubs, such as the dwelling place that is here, Embassy of Faith that is right around in Militant Road, and then coming in our Nutbush community with our partnership with Pure Academy. And for those who don't know, I can share real quick that we have been having these meetings since January of this year, every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, bringing in many of our stakeholders, our mayor, elected officials, business owners, as I say, our 7 P's, parent, pastors, principals, police, politicians, and proprietors to help us build out a ecosystem that helps connect our community, all 76,000 stakeholders in our district, to resources that they need to help them have a better quality of life. I'm excited about that work. I'm excited about our partnership with Shelby County government, especially with Shelby County District of Nectar. I want to thank Ms. Gibson and Ms. Barton, who is the manager of the Shelby County District of Nectar. Raise your hand, Ms. Barton. Again, for those who don't know, you want to connect with this young lady. She's the manager of all the 13 county commissioners, the district connectors in all of the county commission districts. And I want my district connector here in District 6, Ms. Nicole Gates, yeah, you raise your hand, stand there, y'all give a hand too. Make sure y'all, because Nicole, again, I thank the blessing of the manager in the county to allow Nicole to help us facilitate these meetings as we go forward. Also, she's been reaching out to many of you stakeholders who she has not met with yet, and making sure that we get you here to be a speaker as we build out this ecosystem, connecting our residents to the great work that you're doing and building on that capacity. So some great things are happening with it. I'm excited about that work. I'm excited that we've been having some time off from the county commission meeting, so I don't really have updates other than those who know we did pass in the last meeting for the mental health facility to be built. And so we're moving forward with building that mental health facility that's going to be justice center for our adult mental health clients through the Shelby County government. So I'm excited as I've been meeting with the sheriff, mental health providers again. I see my good friend, Brother Ernest Books. I know the DA office like that we can get some of the individuals that sadly sitting down there in 201 Poplar with mental health issues to the curb in connection to the services they need, instead of sitting them in a jail cell waiting on court date that may not come because they're not getting the help they need. So those type of things are what we are speedily moving forward as we get ready for this Christmas holiday. I'm excited that we were able to finally get that passed. And some other great things that are yet on the horizon in the county. I just say, stay involved, stay connected. I told some stakeholders the other day, me and Brother Will Richardson did a graduation class of SCORE. That's an organization in the South Memphis area, and I was a keynote speaker. And I said this to them, when you show up, the people are holding us accountable at that county commission, at the city council. And what I mean is, I know people say, well, I can't make it every day. Somebody needs to be in that audience. Somebody needs to be watching online and making sure that you're holding us accountable. Again, understanding that we do not work for the county government. We work for you. The people elected us. The county didn't hire us. Let me say that again. You elected, that's like a supervisor not showing up to watch what the worker is doing. And what you think gonna happen if you got a business and you're not watching what the worker is doing, they're gonna do whatever they want to do. And when we wonder why the $1.6 billion of our county budget is not being given back to our community like we fought for to create this ecosystem in our community, it's because no one is watching the people who are supposed to do the job. So next year, let's make that a priority. District 6, we're going to make that a priority. We're going to identify partners that this is your day to be there in these committee meetings, in these commission meetings all throughout the year. So I'm looking forward to that. Also in the new year, when we start our meetings, y'all, we're going to only have our first 3 Tuesdays of the month. The first 3 Tuesdays are going to be our regular 12 o'clock meetings here with our stakeholders. But the fourth Tuesday, we're going to start having our community cafes over at the Golden Institute, right around the corner. That's going to be from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. That's going to give some of our families who are many times not able to make it during, like you all blessed to leave your jobs for lunch to come here. Some of them are not able. So they'll be able to network with many of our 7 key stakeholders. We will be at that meeting addressing some of those issues. How can we support other churches? How can we support families in our communities? And how can we support making our community a better place? That's going to be 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, the fourth Tuesday of every month. Make sure you put that on your calendar. We're going to be sending that out in our newsletter. If you have not registered, make sure you register there so we can have your email, that you're on that email list. We send out an email list every Monday morning, and we want to make sure that you're staying connected to us. Also, I want you to remember on your table is a community survey. We in a competition, y'all. All these other districts, people are filling out their survey. We was in the lead at first. So, Commissioner, what's my sister's name? Nicole Gates, I ain't prophesying, but Nicole Gates is holding up that survey. It's important, y'all, that if our voices are not being heard, again, the reason for the district connectors was so that we could do equity and equality across our county, making sure we know what's here, what's not here, and we strategic about being able, that gives me something to fight for. When they give me the data to say, Charlie, you don't have these resources in your district, then I know that's what I need to be fighting for. So please take the time to fill out those surveys. It's only a few minutes to do that, so that's very important to us. Also, announcing next week, we're going to have, December the 13th, is our Christmas tree lighting. So if y'all been riding past around the city center, the tree is up. As I said, we don't have a Charlie Brown Christmas tree anymore. We got a real Christmas tree. Thanks to Shelby County government for supporting us to buy that tree, and City Council for partnering with us on that. Councilwoman Rhonda Logan, they got the tree up, but we're going to have our tree lighting on the 13th. We're going to be giving out some coats that day to the kids, and toys to the kids and families. I want to thank Dr. Telisa Franklin. Give her a hand, because she's been coordinating all of this. Today, she helped coordinate this and honor our seniors, but also she's coordinating our Christmas tree lighting, but also this is going to be Ronnie's first Christmas parade. Give her a hand for that, y'all. She's been working hard now. She was able to get the police department to shut down Austin D for our Christmas parade. Not only she shut down Austin D, we also going to be live on Channel 5 digital. So give her a hand. She's really been working hard. It wasn't easy to get them to shut down Austin D, but she got it done. So we're looking forward to schools and churches and others. Please make sure that you are getting connected so we can have you a part of this Christmas parade. It's going to be historical and it's going to be big, and I'm excited about that. What else we got? That's it.
On the parade, before everybody leaves, we have posters and push cards, so make sure you take some and put them in your surrounding areas. So I have that material and they walk out and can take it.
Thank you, Pastor. You got something. All right, so they here, all right. We thank God for our speaker on today who's going to get ready to come. But before our speaker comes, let's take a minute, y'all, and we're going to start at those back tables. Just line up and let's go ahead and serve the people. Pastor already prayed over the food. But let's serve, do a little networking, and we're going to come right back with our speakers. Any other announcements as our speakers, everybody can serve? Any other organization got any announcements to make? District Attorney got anything? Good. All right. Pastor, we got some like fire. Well, I'm just going to recognize, come on, you can say something, give us some recognition. I just want to recognize Pastor Brogan. Again, this is where our other hub is located at Memphis State. University is the CDC, but also Pastor Brogan, for those who don't know, is the leader of Life Christ Academy in Shelby County, where he is working in schools and churches throughout our county, been able to get several of them to be connected to where they go pick up children while they on school time and take these children to Bible study at the church and bring them back. I'm going to let him tell it about this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Oh, this is a game changer, y'all. Right now, we're serving about 244 students in Memphis and Shelby County Schools. And it's very much needed in our community, right? So 2 years ago, we did a demographic study in the city to find out where we were as far as church was concerned in our community. We found out we were 2 generations away from Christ. in the black community. And therefore, we pray that's our to invite our Catholic aboard. We took 2 years to fight with the school board and other officials to make this program come to life right here in the city. After that fight, February of this year, we started with 2 programs at Keystone and 1 at Riverwood Elementary. Right now, we're operating 8 programs across the city of Memphis. Amen. Can we thank God for that? That's 8 programs. 4 of those programs are in to go, where we are launching 2 new programs at Mount Pisgah Middle School and also Macon Hall Elementary. So we're thankful to God for us seeing these lives change. We have 5 students that get baptized this Sunday at Grace Celebration Lutheran Church. And the best is yet to come. If you would like to participate, volunteer, serve, donate, whatever to help us with this work that we're doing, you are more than welcome to do that. Thank you, Commissioner Caswell.
All right. And again, if y'all have not been watching the great work, so we want to see our tax dollars that work. Just look over at the at the University and Embassy of Faith. The gym is being remodeled. The after-school program is going forward. Computer labs is being put in place. This is all going to be on that side of Raleigh for us, right there across the border kingdom. And they got another big announcement coming. Yeah, come on, share that.
So y'all, a lot going on. A lot of you might not know, before the kingdom has been shut down for over 14 months after the change of transitional power there. On last week, my wife and I met with the owners before the kingdom. We were able to sit down and come up with a plan for before the kingdom will be reopening real soon, and we'll be happy with that work. And the marketplace that they established there will be opening in January, so we will now have fresh food and produce in our community where there is a food deficit. So that grocery store will be open. We will start in January with pop-up shops to get everybody back activated with the campus, and then we'll go from there. So if you're looking to book events or have venues there, we're working with our commissioner to figure out which direction we're going to go with this work with helping for the kingdom come back to life in our community. So be praying for us. All right, and I mean, especially in that area, that community where it is a big time food deficit, to get that market back open. I thank God for our leadership to do that. And that's what these meetings are about, networking, coming together, and being able to be strategic about building capacity for stakeholders in our community. I just want to recognize Brother Joseph Lee. Brother Joseph Lee, come on real quick. I know he's with Regina Newman office, and he's passing out some information that's especially for our seniors. Come on, church. Y'all remember, he used to be over there like that water.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm passing out information from the Office of Shelby County Trustee. We got a senior booklet. We also have a financial empowerment guide, and we do have our 2024 tax brochure. But if you would, take the time to go through each piece of information, and whatever you find that's going to be supportive for you and your family or your neighbors, please pass that on and they can apply for those types of benefits. Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. Thanks so much.
And I do want to recognize Regina Newman office. One of the things she fought for our seniors in the community was to keep the $2.6 million in the budget for our seniors to get their tax relief. So you get the tax relief from the state and the tax relief from us at the county now as our goal, right? We passed the ordinance, so I'm excited about that. Continue to give our seniors some tax. Y'all let's work give them a hand. Our seniors to get that tax relief. Especially when you start looking at the fact that so many of the houses, the appraisals are going up on these homes, that we can help our senior citizens with that tax relief is powerful opportunity to give back to our senior citizens and to disabled veterans and others in our community. All right, how we looking? Got any other announcements? Frayser got a Christmas parade. I'm going to give Frayser an opportunity today to speak about this Christmas parade. Regina down, I want to say something about the Frayser parade. Come on, the Queen of Frayser, come on up here, Regina. The Queen come, I got to let her say something. Frayser give grace on this day. Come on, sister. Hey, as Regina down comes forward, she is the leader of the Frayser Parent Teacher Association. They're doing great work for these years over there. And so when we talk about the fact that y'all heard the news, the good news that MFA 4 is now knocked down, and the new Frayser High School is being built. So I'm excited we got those resources in place to make that happen. But it was leaders like this that stayed on us to make sure that's that accountability. If you want to see hundreds of millions of dollars invested back into your community, you got to make sure you got people at the table that's going to hold you accountable. She did. We heard Bobby, Commissioner Love. Thank y'all for y'all leadership in this. If you can tell about Christmas parade that's coming up.
The Christmas parade will be the first Saturday, and it will be at 12 noon the first Saturday in December. I think it's December the 7th is the day.
Next week.
Yeah.
And so you can come out and support the parade. We worked it out. And what we did was we purchased t-shirts for the treasurers, the boomers of that land. To pay for the Christmas parade. Thank you.
All right, all right. So let's make sure that you help out, they do an awesome job every year. Next Saturday is December the 7th, I believe, yeah. Then, starting at 12 o'clock, you want to be there for that. Bobby, I know usually it was Fred going to this MLK band for the Valley band. You don't have that. So who they going to be battling this year? Not sure, so we got
Let's wait till next year.
wait till next year. And we're going to.
NBA and all the kids.
Oh, yeah,
NBA against
Dr.
all the
and
kids.
Jake over there. So we got the NBA and Fred are going to be battling the same. All right. Okay. If we prefer to get something to eat, I'm going to wait on this. Okay. So, before Dr. Bobby White comes up, our guest speaker on the day, this is a man with many titles, many hats, and a great mentor and leader for so many years for me, myself, and so many of us in this room when we talk about leadership. I just want to say this, that I was able to meet with Bobby and some other leaders. I see Groundswell that is here, and go to Nashville earlier this year, I believe it was. To talk about this new legislation that he's going to be sharing when we talk about education. I don't know if y'all been watching the news, but some things about to happen and change big time when it comes to our education system. And if we are waiting to be behind the scenes to get to know this information, we will continue to be behind. And I believe Dr. Bobby White and the leaders that he's been working with has given us an opportunity to have some chess moves that we are ahead of the game and not playing checkers where we're jumping the stakes in the game. And that's what he's going to be sharing today. One of those things was when they talked about this model was the fact that we looked at alternative schools, and I was one of those young kids who was not good at school back then. I got in a lot of trouble. I grew those who here know my sister growing up in the Dixon Hall Project. In the Grand Cocaine area, sadly witnessed two of my friends killed at 14 and 15 years old. I was that child that acted out in that hurt and that pain that landed me in alternative school at Old Fresh Prep. And when I ended up in that school, I said this though, I went from a B and C student to an A and B student. But sadly, the part about that was I was only there for one semester and they sent me right back to that toxic environment with those same friends who saw the same murders, who saw the same trauma, and we went right back to the same behavior. And this game-changing opportunity that Dr. White is going to be sharing with us, something that the state put in place in legislation, I believe is going to help change the trajectory of our young people today. And those who know the work that I've been doing for many years around adverse childhood experience and addressing trauma and the root cause at the root level is something that I can say, been missing even as we came back out of the pandemic and went back to business as usual in our schools. It was that if it was on me, and again, I'm just one vote on the county commission, but I fought, and like Frayser, I'm going to continue to fight, to say that we should have went straight into counseling and mental health, because not just for the children, but teachers, for parents who had to sit in for 2 years quarantine without children, with a lot of the trauma and the things that they had experienced during that time. And so I say this often, that we were in an epidemic before the pandemic. Epidemic of trauma. We understand that the first time experience is not new. Many of us experienced that generationally. But we left our children in that space and put them right back in there to say, where's your number 2 pencil? We back to reading, writing, and arithmetic. And our children who act out, sadly, they get kicked out or they put out. And some of them just leave. I know the DA, we talk about this often in our public safety meetings that we hold at the county, is that we see these young people that's being kicked out into their jail system. A lot of those kids who are dealing with trauma should be getting the help that they need where they are. And sometimes the only place that they can get that is in that school environment. That's why it's been important to me, and I thank my teachers and leaders who've been invited into the schools, doing professional development days, just to visit down on the west side, to actually work with our teachers around understanding that trauma. So we can begin to mitigate that before we choose the other route and then they leave and get kicked out. So Dr. Bobby White, who is hey, now people keep it down, I know we have to. And we need to, it's easy to happen. Dr. Bobby White, before I introduce Dr. Bobby, I saw one of my colleagues walk in, Commissioner Miguel Lowry, give him a hand, just saying, this is my brother. And I can say this like on my time, the next mayor of Shelby County, Miguel Lowry, just like I did, give him a hand. He is doing some great work in his district 8 way on the other side, up and down the river. So those who don't know, Commissioner Lowry district is Frayser, Uptown, and South Memphis. So he got the whole up the river, down the river area there, but he's doing great work in the district. Been a great mentor to me on this body. I've served 6 years now. And I'm in my 2 years there, but he was our budget chair last year, so if y'all don't like how the budget flow, it was on him. But he done a good job getting us through this last budget, and hopefully we can do a better one next year. You're not budget chair next year. Yeah, Mike chair. You got any words real quick before we say? Good. Before I bring up Dr. Bobby White, and that's the core now, I want to make sure you get college, I need 7 votes on that commission, or if you want to say something. But before I bring up Dr. Bobby White, who is the leader now, leadership in Memphis, he's the CEO and president of leadership. Give him a hand for that. That's a new position. Also, the leader of the Frayser Community Schools in Frayser, he has under his umbrella Westside Middle School in that community. And also his work with Groundswell and helping leading this turnaround school model that most definitely something that's right word about it. Alternative school. And it's a game changer because, again, like I said, many children need that in depth longer than some. And what I believe this opportunity is going to afford us, what he's going to share with us, again, for many of our parents, our seniors, and others that are here, who many of our seniors I know, I'm saying we, I'm about 50 years old, that we end up with the grandbabies. And when we talk about helping them children and help those children through school, it's on us. And we got to make sure we have different choices and opportunities to do that. And today, Dr. Bobby White is going to be sharing with us. So let's give him a hand as he comes. Dr.
Did you say that we got to take over? We got to take the kids from the parents?
They leave them with us some kind of way.
Commissioner Caswell provided us an opportunity today to, is this on?
Yeah.
Because you know, I kind of feel like maybe I'm just talking and put it on here.
No, you good.
Okay. So guys, Commissioner Caswell provided us this opportunity today to talk about something that maybe the folks in this room have not connected to. I have to say, I spent last night medicating to get rid of a fever. Raise it up. All right. So I'm not 100% myself, but I'm 100% myself because the things that I'm going to talk about today are some things that will impact our communities or can impact our communities in a way that maybe we've never thought about, right? And so, I guess we can like start off just by saying most of you guys know me. I have served the community of Frayser for the last 10 years as the founder and CEO of Frayser Community Schools. And you guys know that we have operated Westside, MLK, you know what's going on with MLK right now, as well as Union for the last 10 years. Like, and so I want to like dive in because I don't want to, guys, I don't want you guys to lose sight of the seriousness of what we're talking about today. Like, there's a level of seriousness about that I want to share with you that I'm not sure that you guys are grasping. I understand that today is an opportunity for us to have some really good food. And we're super excited about that. But when you leave here today, I want to make sure you guys understand that I'm ensuring that what happened to us before does not happen to us again. What happened to us before does not happen to us again. So 12 years ago, the ASD entered into our space. There was this idea that we didn't know how to educate our own kids. And since we did not know how to educate them, Governor Haslam created the Achievement School District. The Achievement School District was designed to take over the bottom 5% of all schools in the state of Tennessee. Well, 10 years later, how'd that work? And let's be clear. The first leader of the Achievement School District is my mentor. So we talk about lessons learned. We talk about why it didn't work. Right? We talk about like the idea that there was this traditional approach to serving poor black children that was attached to how they had been serving poor brown children around the country. Like this got low-hanging fruit around where I'm going, right? So today, what I want to talk to you guys about is literally the opportunity that we had. Well, somebody gave me they did give me these things. The opportunity that we had. Like, again, I have no need in my mind to kind of talk to you about who I am. You guys know the work that I've done over the last 15 years, 20 years in our city, right? And so, what I want to make sure that I'm clear about to you guys is this. I want to ensure that what happens with this legislation does not happen to us, but that we are the ones that are in control of it. I want to ensure again that what happens with this legislation, that it doesn't happen to us, but we are the ones in control of it. So what is this legislation? It's called Opportunity Schools. And I always center every conversation I have on the babies. I was a football, baseball, basketball, track coach. I was a principal for years. This is the work that I do, right? This is who I am. And so I want to make sure you guys understand when I'm talking to you, this is the spirit that I'm coming from, right? So the Opportunity Schools legislation. This is when I'm going to slow down. Most folks know I talk with the families. And I am kind of like high wire. I want to make sure I slow down for a minute to ensure that everyone in this space understands exactly what I'm talking about. There was legislation passed that included Antonio Parkinson, Chisholm, and Hardaway for students that are at risk.
be clear. There's some other folks that were a part of this legislation, but the folks that generally are in this meeting, they sign on this legislation, okay? It is a legislation that provides us with the opportunity to have alternative performance framework if we serve a certain type of student. Again, like, guys, I know this is one of those spaces where we gotta learn, you know, in church, and you have the pastor that is teaching because he digs into the scripture, and you have the pastor that just wanna hoop.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not hooping right now.
All right.
I'm not a hooper. I used to hoop. I mean, Ed Rice and all, right? But let's be clear. I'm not the pastor that's hooping. I'm not screaming. I'm trying to help you guys understand that there's something that has happened in our state that will afford us an opportunity in our city to do something different than we've ever done before. And so I'm slowing this down. You guys are eating 2 days away from Thanksgiving. It's probably not the best time to talk about this. I beg you to just give me some time and you guys really connect to what I am saying. I beg you to give me some time. So, opportunity schools are birthed out of opportunity legislation. What is the opportunity legislation we're about to tell you? There's already an opportunity school and that is slated to open in Nashville next year. I don't know if that person over that school up is here or not. I know he was slated to be here. If he is, it's great for him and maybe be able to chime in on it. So,
You got it.
oh, I'm the guy. Okay. So, opportunity schools. The legislation says that if you open up a charter school and 75% of the students that you serve meet a certain criteria, then you will not be held to the same academic standard, and I want to say academic standard because this is important, that a traditional school would be held to. So I say, these at-risk, guys, I don't even know these kids. Some of them stealing my cars. None of them. None of this. Like, for me, I'm saying to you guys, we have an opportunity. If there is someone in this room or someone in this city who decides that they want to, at some point, start a school where if they serve these kids, the game has changed. So I think this is where I think everyone has to realize. Just give me 30 seconds to understand the difference. Right now, all these babies reside in all of our schools, right? They count against our test data. Because they're in our schools and y'all know they don't do nothing. They're not at school. When they're at school, they're causing problems. When they're not at school, they're causing problems. But guess what, guys? Y'all do know there's somebody's baby. There's somebody's son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter. We can't forget about it. Oh my God. This legislation allows us to be able to think about it. Think about them intentionally so that we build school models that are designed to support them as opposed to designed to make them obsolete to the traditional model. There are a number of kids, I have been doing this work over the last 25 years, and there are a number of kids that I realized that I was just never going to be in town. I don't care if I'm Coach White, I don't Dr. White, I don't Miss What. The kids call me Mr. CEO, whatever you want to call me. There was a couple of them that design just didn't work for them. Well, when are we going to start thinking about that group of kids? Because let me tell you what we do in Memphis. And y'all got to hear this. What we do is we send them to alternative schools. They serve their sentence. They serve their sentence, and then we send them back to the neighborhoods. When they go back to the neighborhood school, man, they're more powerful as like gangsters. They're like, look, I'll bring them into the alternative school. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna cause even more chaos. Because they have still not thought about me intentionally. I'm just saying to you guys, this legislation, because maybe I haven't mentioned this. Because of the legislation, if you open up a school that has 75% of their kids that are a part of this, their accountability model is different. So, if I take 75% of the kids that have all of these characteristics, which I don't like talking about this stuff out loud, it just sounds negative.
Help us today.
It just sounds negative to me. Dropout, juvenile justice involved. It sounds negative to me. Y'all know this facts. Y'all know this facts that we're talking about. If somebody could open up a school with the very DNA being grounded in what these babies need, then what? If I am she, legacy of legends, like whoever these organizations are, could, like from the ground up, build schools that connect to these babies from the beginning, then what do we really have? I think we have something pretty powerful. And I think this is the first time that we really have ever had some legislation. Y'all saw the couple slides back, Touche signed on to this. So he believes in it. Chisholm, Hardaway. Like, these are our folks. Like, don't get crossed up with who else signed on. Get crossed up to who did sign on. And Touche is generally here. He's not here today, but this is one of his pieces, right? So I just want you guys to just kind of realize we have an opportunity here. And I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. When the ASD came to town, they gave it to us. Because nobody who was from here talked to y'all about what they were about to do. Nobody's trying to do anything right now. But what I'm telling you is, given these 25 years that I have, it's coming. And somebody's going to come and do this. Why wouldn't it be us? Why wouldn't it be us? Right? So I want to be very clear. Like, guys, I wasn't sitting around thinking about this stuff. I had a brother that, y'all know how close I am to Chris Barker, that's my guy, right? He called me and was like, man, I had this guy who just thinks about this stuff in the state of Tennessee. Greg Clifford, he's sitting back there waiting for him, Greg. Like, Chris Barker said, hey, I got this guy that is thinking about, like, what does it look like in alternative schools in the state of Tennessee? And I was like, man, the state of Tennessee ain't worried about alternative schools. About alternative schools. That's not what we do. And he's like, just have a conversation with me. And so I always want to be very transparent about how I got here. Because I didn't have time to be thinking about alternative schools. Because I got all kind of other stuff going on. Y'all know I got several jobs, right? Right? So anyway, I just say that this is a passion project for me. I want to be very clear. I am the founder and CEO of Frayser Community Schools, but I am the current president and CEO of Leadership Memphis, right? And I'm super proud of it, right? And so I just say, this is a passion project for me. And so I want you guys to understand, I don't want anybody to come to our city and do what we need to do for our own babies. And so I want to make sure I'm standing out front to make sure that we do it. And whoever's coming, we make sure that we're in control of it. So, opportunity charter schools. So, I want to make sure, this one, the teacher in me. So let's be clear. The legislation does not allow for anybody other than a charter school to be designated as a opportunity school. The spirit of the law does not say that we want to take this idea and put it on our neighborhood schools. Follow me. Somebody can say, Tresman, MLK, Rockledge, all of them have 75% of the kids that meet this criteria. That's not the spirit of the law, okay? It's not about our neighborhood schools. It's about somebody deciding to start a charter school that would then take all of those babies that are meeting that criteria really away from the district. So in my mind, it keeps us from having to compete with the district. You know, it affords us the opportunity to say to the district, hey, Superintendent Fagan, Dr. Richmond, like, hey, can we be part of your portfolio model where there are kids that you know you have had challenges really connecting with or be affording them the opportunity to be successful? This model can help them, right? And so I want y'all to think through it from that standpoint. In Memphis, we are an anti-charter group or world, but I think this is the kind of charter model that will afford folks the opportunity to understand that it's not about taking kids away from the charters or the district schools. Because as we kind of move through this presentation, man, the kids that anybody who opens up one of these schools, they're in school anyway. You got to go find them. Like, they're not in school anyway, right? Natalie, you're looking at me, and I know you got a question, but you can't ask it right now. So I'm gonna let you know. You can't ask it right now. Let me get through my presentation. All right. And so anyway, the opportunity schools. Again, I'm not big on reading stuff out to folks, but I think that the things that I'm super excited about are what you guys understand about is like CTE in Memphis. And then this one right here, and I think this speaks to Mr. Caswell, Ms. Caswell, a number of people in this community, that these relationships with families is so important in how successful our kids are. And can you imagine, I want y'all to just take 15 seconds to can you imagine if every school that we design from this point forward, we're thinking about the baby that had trauma. We're thinking about the babies that dealt with stuff that makes it challenging for them to go to school in life. So let me tell you what ends up happening. All of our schools, we have organizations that helicopter in to support those babies after the fact. We weren't from the beginning thinking about those babies. And so we helicopter these organizations in, and they do what they can, but what are they really doing? If we didn't, from the beginning, build these schools from scratch. So listen, I want to be very clear with y'all. I'm trying to start another school. I'm 52. I don't even know if I had that energy yet. But somebody in this room, somebody in Frayser, Raleigh, and why I started Frayser and Raleigh? Because we have MBA, Frayser, MLK, Tresvant, Raleigh, Egypt, Craigmont. We have 5 high schools. With data that says we need to be doing something more than just a traditional model. Right? That's why I started here. The next community that I want to talk to are people in Hickory Hill. They got a bunch of high schools as well. But I wanted to start here because this is my home. Like, this is my home, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so I want to try to really understand like the power behind what this legislation can actually do. Right? And so when we do right by kids, kids will do right by us. When we do right by kids, kids will do right by us. So, look, I had no idea these kids were going to do this stuff. They made me, I was pissed off that they filmed whatever they were doing. But at the end of the day, it went viral, and we ended up on the Ellen show. I flew out with those babies, and they met Ellen, and they met Smith, they met all these people. You know why? Because we taught them how to empathize and care for one another in a school setting. So these babies right here decided that this baby was somebody they wanted to pour into.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? You know, like this is Memphis. We know how racism is, you know, black, white, whatever. But these 2 babies decided that they wanted to pour into their baby. Why does this matter with what I'm talking about? Guys, like the schools that we need to create for the babies that are struggling, they need to build emotional intelligence.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They need to have the social emotional piece that is at the forefront in the DNA of how we build the structure of the school. Not, well, we think that they are struggling, so let's bring in an organization. My call to you guys is at some point, what I feel like this legislation can do is there will be folks that will start schools that this is a big part of the ground structure of what they do. So I want to go ahead and speed up. He talked to me, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Here are the high schools in Frayser. This is data from, I think, 2022, 2023. So let's just look at it from this standpoint. If all we're doing is saying we want to start schools that are going to impact these kids and these kids, because clearly the current schools not targeting them, then would they not be a win for us? Because I will be as Bobby L. White Jr. as I can be. Y'all know these are the folks that's still in our class. Y'all know.
Yeah.
That's the data.
Y'all know. Those are kids that's still in our class.
Right.
Like, year before last year, a student stole the principal's car. Stole the principal's car.
Sure did.
Was caught that evening and returned to school the next day. The principal called me and said, Dr. White, what do I do? Well, if y'all know me, I said, don't worry about it, I'm on my way. I closed the door, bro. You know what? I'm going to say that. I can't say that anymore. What I will say is, I wanted to know why he felt that he could do that and nothing be done to him. And he would come back to school. What I'm telling you is this kind of school that I think that, listen, I want y'all to really understand. Guys, I don't have the answers. I'm telling you, this legislation provides us the opportunity to dream, to then have the answers. I don't have the answers. I've been doing this 25 years, I still haven't solved it. Now, do I go to, when I was a coach and when I was a principal and all these things, now do these babies ask me, hey, Dr. White, Coach White, can you come back and, be at my wedding or, be at my baby shower? Like, yes, I have those success stories. But to solve it from a systematic standpoint, where we're being strategic about what do we do about kids that fit this. Now, mind you, I told you about the legislation earlier. All these kids are part of the legislation. So, here's the thing. I want to say this again. If someone starts a charter school and 75% of their kids, the criteria for the things that are the most troubling for us, then that charter school is not going to be held to the same academic standard as a non-traditional school. So what that would allow me to do, that would allow anyone in here to do, and I keep talking about IMG, because I know IMG is talking about, like, I'd love to start an all-girls school. Well, if you start at an all-girls school, and 75% of your kids met this, then you wouldn't have the same academic standards as be held accountable, and you wouldn't be closed down. And I want to call this stuff out, guys. It ain't watering down the curriculum. It ain't watering down the babies we serve. It's just the babies that we serve. There's a different thought process around what is success for them. And if we cannot be held to the same standard, then I think that there is a piece of the work. There's a side of the work that just makes sense for those babies. It's just a side of the work. And so I just wanted to, like, y'all see the numbers. I don't have to call them out. This is my baby. I think this 22, 23 data. This is my baby. Like, man, but think about it, guys. Y'all think about all of the kids in Frayser Raleigh. So we got to have this brand new high school. It's going to combine definitely Treasury and MLK. But let's be clear, some of those NBA kids are going to show up. Some of these kids are going to show up. So we probably going to have 1,200 kids. Are there going to be some of them that probably don't really need to be there? What if one of you guys decided to start an alternative? And I want to be very clear. I want to keep saying it. An opportunity school that meets the needs of kids who the traditional setting just does not work for. And we're thinking intentionally about that, right? And so there's never a chance that I'm not going to say about what it looks like. It looks like that. Man, this is my favorite picture of work. And when I started Frayser, I left from being a principal at Westside back in 2011, 2012. I started Frayser Community Schools. This is my first graduating class. Man, I keep up with each one of those brothers. That's what it's about, right? So with the schools that I'm talking about now, and I want y'all to get it, maybe we don't do it. Maybe it's not something we want to do. But I don't want y'all to 5 years from now be like, you know about to tell us about it. So if we don't do something about it, don't say that Dr. White knew about it, but he didn't tell us about it. Okay, I'm telling you guys about what the actual legislation can provide us the opportunity to do, and that somebody in this room is going to have an opportunity, or may take the opportunity to figure out how to do that. Nothing more, nothing less, y'all. I want y'all to be very clear. And I told y'all earlier, look, I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for Greg. he came and he was like, hey, I talked to Robin Well. And she was like, you probably didn't talk to White. Why did he talk to White, meaning me? Because let's be clear, y'all know I'm transparent to a fault. Freedom Scrap does application-based charter schools where you put an application in, and if there is a lot of kids, then you have to be on the waiting list. He knew, Robin knew, Bobby, that's not the world that he's in. Bobby wants to serve the neighborhood kid. He cares less about anything else. The schools that he started were the schools that the ASD gave him because they were the kids that were in the neighborhood. Like, we all have our space in this world. Robin is the governor. In my mind, she's the greatest charter leader in our city. But we don't do the same work. So when Greg came and said, hey, Robin told me to call you, we're like, well, what do you want? And we started to talk. And so that's why we are where we are. So I wouldn't have known about this work if not. Guys, I don't sit around looking at legislation. I had a couple jobs. I don't sit around looking at legislation. So I just want to make sure you guys are clear about how I got to this point. Right? And so what I kind of wanted you guys to do is, like, I know I've been talking about for about 30 minutes. You know, I wanted to get you guys to kind of like talk at your tables about what you think about what I've said. Right? So what I'm trying to do and what I feel like I've already done to this point is build a coalition of local leaders to identify the areas of need. Many of the folks in this room have already had this conversation with me, right? And so when we build this, like when I say this is the infrastructure of if somebody in this room does indeed start a charter school, or somebody that you know, these are the things that I'm already trying to figure out so that it will work out for you guys. The policy, funding, facilities, guys, let's be clear. Like all those things that if that's not the world you're in, you're not gonna be able to figure it out, right? And I'm trying to figure it out because again, I don't want it to happen to us. I want one of us to do it, right? And then recruit proven folk. I'm hopeful that somebody in this room or somebody in this city decides that they're going to do it before somebody else outside of the city does it. Now, what I will tell you is this. I don't believe that we have been taught to train. And I don't know if we have people that are creative enough without some support for people that have been able to dream. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah, I know, Ms. Caswell, I understand you dream. And so if you guys can take a few minutes at your table, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes, just kind of talk about what I've talked about, and then maybe you guys can ask me some questions before we move forward. We don't have a few more minutes, so you can take a couple minutes to talk at your tables, and then we move forward.
And as Dr. Bobby White, if you take those 3 minutes, I'm going to take this minute for the privilege to recognize one of our school board commissioners, Ms. Natalie McKinney. And she was our particular girl a couple of weeks ago. Thank you again for your leadership. She represents part of our district here at Fremont High Middle School, I think 2 in Groundswell. Well, thank you for being with us. Take that 2-3 minutes, as Dr. White said, and talk about what he talked about. I know a lot of us have some ideas for this. Our children, the children that we know, what do this model mean? Is this something we need to do? And for those especially who know what happened with the Achievement School District when it came, it was a failure. And do we want to leave it to the state to send another district in here and fail our children for another generation? That's why we're getting ahead of this work. Again, as y'all taking a couple of minutes, Remember our seniors, we want to bless you. We have about 10 boxes we can bless our seniors with after this message.
I'm gonna give it to him.
Dr. Gates.
I'm gonna give him a few as they need.
Gibson Martin, is she still here? Miss Martin. Walk out. She go.
Hey, beautiful woman. I'm sorry.
Questions, if anyone have any questions for Dr. White or his team that is here with us. All right. Tell the Lord thank you. I think the person who's keeping us in, you don't know, is Commissioner Myra. Go ahead, we're gonna wrap it up with any questions that you may have. Okay, we got one quick slide, and then we're gonna let y'all get out of here and get back to the dance.
Yeah. Either y'all talking about how good the food was, or y'all are actually talking about what we actually were talking about. So I'm gonna give y'all 15 seconds to kind of come back to me. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to come back to me. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to come back to me. I don't ever miss that, like, you know, elementary principal for 15, gangster, the goal of school, like, at the end of the day, I don't want to leave this space with us not, like, leaving with what the purpose was, right? I would love to, like, share about what is the conversation like at your table? What are you thinking about as it relates to what this legislation says and what it can do for specifically the community of Raleigh and Frayser? So that's not something that I talked about. But I was very intentional about the fact that Raleigh Frayser is a community that has multiple high schools, and I listed those high schools. MLK is no longer, it's torn down now, but like the data came from MLK, Tristan, Creekmont, Raleigh, Egypt, MBA. 5 high schools, all within an 8-mile radius of one another. All with with those data points. Can you imagine if we created an alternative school, opportunities, because I think what we have to change the narrative in Memphis is like talking about this as being an opportunity as opposed to an alternative. Because you guys understand what alternative means in Memphis. You go serve your term and you go back. Like, so if we can change the narrative and so it would be an opportunity. Can you imagine if all of the kids who cause problems in those 5 high schools are now in a school that we built specifically for them? So not only do they get benefit, but the kids at the school that they left from get benefit. Y'all, come on now. I was a teacher, principal, assistant principal, football, baseball, basketball coach. I've done this. Cafeteria monitor, hall monitor. I've done this for the last 25 years. There are a group of kids that are just not going to thrive in the traditional system. And we thought intentionally about what those models need to look like for those kids. Well, the first thing, the reason why we haven't is because if we open up a school like that and we can have all those kids, we're going to get closed down. Because the data that they're going to produce is not going to afford us an opportunity to be able to stay open. Yes, ma'am. I give you 15 seconds. I said, give me 15 seconds. So what I wanted to do is, as we move forward, like what's next? These are the things that I wanted us to think about. Our next slide, as we just kind of talked about, you guys are kind of the turn and talk. Our next slide is going to be like, hey, what's next? What are the next steps? But the last bullet is something that I wanted to make sure I lifted up in this space. So when the ASD came to town 12 years ago, they brought or organizations from outside of our city came and started schools. I want to make sure that any school that started in our city, that the person that leads it is from our city. Now, I'm not telling you that you're not going to take from a model that's from around the country, because as I told you guys, I don't think that we've ever been able to dream. Right? And so one of the things that Greg and I have done is try to find the best models around the country that can potentially support the city, our space. But we need leaders in Memphis to actually believe that. Right? So I digress. I heard I had someone who had a question. I have no answer, but go ahead.
You're not going to answer?
Go ahead. I'm so sorry. So, a couple things. Woo, that's a great question. So, the first thing is, I have to understand what you mean about the funding. Once you start school, the kids are going to drop their funding. But you're talking about like the training and so on. So, a part of what I'm attempting to do is, as we build the momentum around interest, around what this looks like in our city, then Greg Lippin and I, again, my colleague, and I'm not sure, like, man, you need to come through and get this microphone because you can answer some of these questions a lot better than I can. We are attempting, we had meetings yesterday and today to try to get funding so that when someone says, we think we want to do this, that we can support them over a year's period where they are able to understand how the work is done, provide a charter application, submit a charter application, and then understand the funding structure around how to start a charter school. So that is a part of the work that I am actually trying to spearhead. So yes, that is part of the plan. We're not just kind of throwing people out there on their own.
And Sister Jane, are you two talking about when, just like the funding that goes with the student at that level, is that this legislation bagging with the same type of funding? Is that kind of the?
Well, I know about I'm just saying additional resources folks want to pursue, like CCD certification, because we know that the funding we're receiving in the school is not always enough to serve all of the needs that our students have. So what additional resources are out there to support our students?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Greg, if you come up, because I know you help with those people who are watching the stream can kind of get some of this too. And if you can, maybe just repeat that question too. As she was saying, just looking at CTE and other opportunities to fund that.
Hello, everyone. First of all, let me just say thank you for the opportunity to be here. This is incredible. Thank you, Mr. Caswell, Dr. White. To answer the question, so there's a couple ways of thinking about it above and beyond the startup funding that Dr. White's talking about. First of all, one of the things that now is part of TISA is an additional significant chunk of funding for schools that provide CTE programs. And so, as we start thinking about the budgets for these schools, we dance? All right. So one of the things that I think is really important is thinking about how do you bring the students farther from opportunity connected to the best CTE programs. And that's when Bobby's talking about the national model, you see CTE programs that are designed with a child that may not have a car in mind, or who has a schedule that involves caring for his younger siblings in mind, or that maybe they need some help being in the workforce and being ready for those kinds of daily interactions. So the CTE funding that the state of Tennessee has definitely said the state wants to be a leader in supporting schools that do CTE. Now the challenge is how do we build models in this opportunity charter space with the CTE that actually works for the children that Bob was talking about. That's one. Secondly, I think there is a way to think about why the word wraparound exists. Basically, at the end of the day, wraparound means there's a school, and then we're going to try to attach things around the edge of it. And when Bobby talks about some of the people in this room who've been serving these children through nonprofits from the get-go and building them into the DNA of the school, their fundraising power and their resources become part of the school. Because there isn't a magic pot of money to support mental health services or to support the kind of counseling kids need, or even just the medical care, whatever it is. But I think that for this to work, and that's why being in this space with someone like Mr. Caswell is so critical, is that the nonprofit sector is very, very strong in Memphis. If they're a fundamental part of the school, they are drawing resources that become a fundamental part of the school program. And that's the way it works in other cities. You know, we have some folks who are coming in to work hopefully with leaders here from New York, from New Orleans, from wherever, and without the nonprofit partners that they work with, their model doesn't work. So there's three pieces to it. There's the startup funding, which is critical. There's the CTE funding, which is part of the TISA, and then there's the nonprofit partnerships without which none of this is going.
All right, any other questions as we come to a close? Again, give Dr. Bobby White a hand. I'm going to bring it up real quick, Telisa, and she's going to just real quick, we want to take advantage of resources that are here. Let's give our senior community a hand as they came and joined us today. Again, thank you all. We couldn't do this without your wisdom, your leadership before us to get us to this place. So I thank you all for being here and honor you all. You all have a great Thanksgiving. Make sure that you, again, stay safe this Thanksgiving.
I'm sorry, I just had one important question.
Yes, ma'am.
To Mr. Greg, what
So,
The question was asked, what type of school models already out there on the national level that
So I don't want to embarrass anyone in the room, but we have the founder and CEO of one of those models who's here in the room today. So, Mr. Nanda, if you don't mind waving your hand. S.K. Nanda from Living Dutch in New York State. These models are all over the country where this legislation already exists. In Jay's model, they focus on building teams, children who spend much of their day on sports teams and with their coaches on the field and in the classroom. You've got models where local companies are providing space for kids to come learn a trade as they work towards their high school diploma. You've got places where teen parents are being given a very, very special schedule so that they can both raise their children and work towards their post-secondary dreams. So there isn't a model. When Bobby talks about he doesn't know the solution, what I think he and I share is that there are some people who have built brilliant solutions all over the country, and I think it's the role of Groundswell to say, hey Tennesseans, which flavor is for you? Hey Memphis, which one works best for the children that you know need help?
Thank you very much, Dr. Telisa Franklin. And then I want to thank you, Dr. White, for bringing this in your leadership and working with our outside partners to see something like this happen for our community. And when we talk about the opportunity for our children, y'all, it's needed, and it's not needed for such a time as this. We need to come together. So, stakeholders here, December the 10th, please prepare your calendar. This is one of our ecosystem identifiers that's working on policy. So we can come together with all the stakeholders and neighborhood partners here, and our school leaders that will be with us to talk about what do that look like as we get ready to push this wraparound District 6 out for our children and families. Thank you.
Can we give Commissioner Caswell a round of applause? Now, he really do care about our community, so thank you so much, brother, for your love. What a speaker, Dr. Bobby White. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. And we're so grateful to have each and every one of you all in here. And if you are a senior, now I feel like I'm a senior because I got an AARP. So if you are a senior, do not leave. Commissioner has made sure that you have a basket so you can enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. It was very important to him that we had this event, this gathering, so our seniors in our community will have a great meal. So again, do not leave without that. If you are a senior and the flowers at the table, take you some fresh flowers because we want you to know that you matter. So all week you can smell those flowers and be reminded that you matter. All right? And I want to thank our partners that came out to share information. Mid-South Transplant Foundation, where there is a great importance of organ and tissue donation. Thank you so much. Maria, that's in the back, she's represented in Clerk Tammy Sawyer's office. Thank you so much. Get that information. Do not leave without information. We have Aisha that is representing Oak Street Health, value-based health care for our seniors, so we don't have transportation. She can take care of you and make that happen. And we're grateful for Sing Health, y'all. It's a new program here in our country. We're grateful to have them here with us. Thank you all so much. And of course, we have the Shelby County Department that is always doing great things. And of course, we have you, each and every one of you all. Y'all remember our Christmas parade, Christmas and Rice. So before you leave, if you have businesses, you have your church, you need to take some posters so we can saturate the community. And then we have a flyer to give you the whole weekend about Christmas in Raleigh. The tree lighting that Friday, our parade that Saturday, and our joint worship service that Sunday. Y'all, we're doing it big right here in Raleigh because we have amazing leadership that really cares about the community, that is spearheading. CBN is powered by City Councilwoman Rhonda Logan, of course, Commissioner Charlie Caswell, State Representative Antonio Touche Parkinson, Commissioner Love, that is our Grand Marshal Michael Easter Thomas, just the whole family, y'all. We love Raleigh, we love our people.
So the Grand Marshal this year is going to be State Representative Parkinson and Commissioner Love. So give them a hand. Again, thank you all for joining us on today. Love on somebody as we beat this minute. all the holiday cards. Come on real quick about holiday cards. Oh, and don't forget, for those who do go ahead, there's going to be a bunch of holiday parties, but December the 14th, after the parade that night, we're going to have the 12 Tastes of Christmas at the Palace in Cordova. You want to get your tickets, you already leaders like Dr. Bobby White, Superintendent Marie Fagan, Chief Dave, Police Department, Chief Davis, Will Richardson, David Jordan, Mark Sturridge, a bunch of leaders in our city, about 11 to 12 powerful leaders that's doing some leadership work that's changing the trajectory of our community. So come out December the 14th, get your tickets online, 12 Tastes of Christmas. You can Google it or see to Executive Director of Legacy Amendment, Tierra Caswell, after this meeting. Also, leadership Memphis. December the 16th, holiday party at the Botanic Garden, Leadership Memphis. If you come out that night, just always remember that class of 2014 is the best class ever, forever. This house.
Don't play talk.
I just want to add to the 12 seasons that there will be a phenomenal surprise that no one knows about.
12 Tastes.
12 Tastes.
Tell Lord, thanks. All right, thank y'all for coming out.
So many of y'all in here are leaders. If you've never taken the executive class of Leadership Memphis, it's now under the direction of Dr. White. Listen, take the class, and y'all will never be the best class, but you can be a class.
Come up real quick, everybody. We're going to take a picture with Dr. White and his team. Everybody come up real quick. Right up front, right here, we're going to take a picture. I want to recognize, too, our director of the Aging Commission, those individuals that need service for the Aging Commission. His deal is Kim Dorothy. Kim Dorothy, if you need information from the Aging Commission,